Welcome to Awakening You channel. If you appreciate what we do, please support us. Thank you. Channel, John Smallman. Humanity is awakening. Your awakening is unavoidable. Those of you who are in the early stages, those of you who are becoming aware that it is absolutely essential to awaken, have been very powerfully moving towards this wondrous upcoming moment as you have observed the increasing pain and suffering that so many are undergoing due to the various insane conflicts presently befalling so many across your world. The time for violence and war is over, and only love will bring it to an end. Love is inundating planet Earth as never before and affecting everyone, even those who have chosen, and are still choosing, to judge, condemn, and punish those with whom they disagree. The deluge of love presently flooding the earth is immersing everyone. People are drowning in love and are consequently being aroused into a state of care, compassion, and tenderness which stimulates an intense desire to assist in bringing about a state of equanimity throughout the world. This will allow harmony, resonance, and a willingness to acknowledge the paramount need to recognize, honor and bring into being a universal kinship among all of humanity, without exclusions or exceptions of any kind. Kinship is the natural state of humanity. It is the relationship that enfolds you all in the love that is Mother or Father or God. You are all members of this divine kinship, a state or relationship that always honors and respects all its members. It is the state from which you have never been separated, and yet for many eons people have tended to attempt to limit it to blood relationships and very close friendships, thus using it instead as a means of disunion or estrangement that has often led to intense disharmony and conflict, as it still does. Love is who you are, love is who humanity is, because humans are all creative sentient beings, and all sentient beings are eternally and inseparably one with God. The apparent separation that humans experience from each other and from God is utterly unreal. You have just chosen to pretend that you are alone and abandoned in a very dangerous environment, and because you have been playing this game of pretense for so long, it is very difficult for you to come to the realization of its unreality. It is rather like movie or stage actors who remain in their roles between scenes so as not to lose their ability to flow with the story they are telling when they are back on the set or on stage. Well, the movie, the play is over, and it is time to be yourselves again, divine beings of love, living naturally as your real selves, sharing and extending that love. You know that you are conscious, aware beings, and that knowing comes with a responsibility, the responsibility to acknowledge that your nature is love, and to live lovingly in every moment. However, your egos are very good at persuading you that as separate beings you have to take care of yourselves because no one else will. This is not the case. When you choose to live lovingly, you do have free will and so can choose to do so or not to do so and make it your daily practice. You will find that others regularly engage with you in like manner. It is no good, and it is definitely not practicable to wait for others to do so first. As the beloved and aware divine children of God, it is you who must set the example of being love in action. That is why you chose to be in human form at this moment. You knew before you incarnated that you were incarnating into the age in which the tsunami of love was going to flood planet Earth, and you wanted to be present to mightily assist in the resultant awakening process, and to absolutely delight in the human experience of being utterly and totally immersed in love. Yes, you, like all beings in form, were disabled upon arrival by the amnesia that enveloped you upon your arrival. But, you now know that you have a divine purpose on earth right now, because almost since the first moments that your human intellect began to make its presence apparent to you, you began to wonder what on earth you were doing in form. Since then you have spent a lot of time attempting to figure it out, even though the culture, race, ethnicity, or nation into which you were born was attempting to convince you that the material world was the one and only reality. You did not believe that, and so you continued your search, your questioning, and now you do know, even if you are not yet fully ready to admit it, that the only reality is love, is Mother, or Father, or God. The reason for your caution is because it often feels to you that you are alone in your knowing, and your egos are very happy to try and convince you that this indeed is the case, and that therefore you must be careful about disclosing this knowing. But, you do know that God is the only reality and that you are eternally and inseparably one with her, and that therefore now is the time for you to admit this fully to yourselves, and to share your knowing not by proselytizing with others, and then discover with joy that they too are allowing themselves to know and share this divine truth. Yes, love is who you and every sentient being without any exceptions are, and you are all starting to become most joyfully aware that there is nothing to fear because love is all. There is nothing outside or beyond it, because it envelopes and embraces all that God creates for all eternity. Fear is of the ego, of the unreal, but seemingly very real material environment in which you found yourselves after you chose to attempt to experience what is and always will be utterly impossible, separation from your infinitely loving source. You did succeed in constructing because God created you with all of her power along, of course, with free will an unreal, imaginary or illusory state into which you could and did enter. And because of your creative abilities, when you entered into it and you can and will find and take the exit, it immediately seemed utterly real. That was an enormous shock, but now, finally, you are realizing the unreality of it, and are choosing to awaken. Make a point therefore, as you go within daily to your holy inner sanctuaries, to not only reset your intent to be only loving whatever may arise in your daily lives, but also to prepare yourselves for the celebrations that will unfold so joyously as you all awaken into the reality from which you have never for even a moment been disunited. Your loving brother, Jesus.